Hey guys, Jack here. We're going to be setting up an aquarium today, a little 10-gallon aquarium here. I'm going to be using a substrate called Carib Eco Complete that I'm really happy with. And it's also going to be a dirted tank, and we're going to use a gravel cap, so it's actually going to have 3 layers. Before I start with this, I want to tell you, I'm not saying this is the way to set up an aquarium, to do a planted aquarium. This is the way I do it. I've had really good results with this. When we started doing this, we had really a complete change about how our plants grew, even in a low-tech tank without CO2. Also, for those of you that follow the podcast, this has nothing to do with self-sufficiency and self-reliance and prepping or permaculture. This is just something I do for fun. So let's check it out. We're going to start out, like I said, we're going to need a dirted tank. And this is actually for my duck holding area. This is years of duck poop and wood chips and native soil. And to make it safe, I took this yesterday, and probably not the happiest thing that the camera woman has ever seen, but I put it in her oven and we baked it at 250 degrees for about 45 minutes. Anyway, in we go with that. Why that much? Looked about right. I don't get really stickler about this. I do try to break up any big chunks. And if I see any really big woody pieces, I try to get most of it out. A lot of people screen this. If it was a commercially prepared soil mix, I probably would. But I actually think little bits of wood and stuff, as they get waterlogged and break down, they release CO2. And that's all there is to that. If you look, it's maybe about an inch at best. Mostly even. Not going to get all out of sorts about it. Next up. This is the substrate that I have settled on. There's a lot of good ones. Carib Eco Complete for planted aquariums. People say this stuff's just inert lava rock. They are wrong. I've grown stuff side by side, lava rock, lava sand in this, and it absolutely does better. It comes in a liquid. The liquid, we skipped a step on camera. Got ahead of myself. So Dr. Earth Premium Gold Organic Fertilizer is a 444 fertilizer with a lot of beneficial microorganisms in it. Colony forming bacteria. I sprinkle that on, kind of like if I was going to plant into this. Just a nice little sprinkle. And then I'm going to till that. Yeah, I know I'm a no-till guy outside, but it's not really tilling. So we're going to work that into the soil. Kind of smooth it back out. Again, I don't get too much in a wad about this. I think it's actually good for things to have little pockets of different things here and there. That's how nature does it. Now, what I was saying about this stuff, this comes in a water. And you should use the water in your aquarium. It has fertility aids in it. It also has beneficial aquarium bacteria so that you help cycle the tank faster. However, if you have a dirted bottom and you dump that in there, you're going to float the dirt around it. And it's going to make a mess. And then you're going to be angry and you're going to have to start all over. Ask me how I know. So, what I do is I start out draining the excess moisture off of it, and I go all around the edge, because if you're going to float anything up, that's how you're going to do it. So I just drain it and go around the edge until I get the whole edge battened down. And I'm hoping I have enough here. I had 1 bag for 2 10-gallon tanks. It should be plenty. I want to do right around 3/4 of an inch to an inch of this stuff. If I wasn't dirting it, I would go with like 2 inches of this, because this would be my main growing medium. Now I got both. I have layers just like nature does. Funny thing, that. So we kind of work our way from the... Because if you just pile this up in the middle, when you go to spread it out with your hand, what's going to happen is you're going to kind of till it into the dirt. You're going to make mud before you're ready to make mud. And then you're going to be unhappy. You're going to be mad at me for not telling you to do that. So that's why I am. So now the water that's left in this bag, I will split it between the 2 tanks when I go to fill them. We're not going to be filling it on camera today. Now I'm just going to kind of just level that out. Now this would be the time, if you want to do any kind of terrain features in your gravel, I would do it now, because what we're going to do next is what's called a gravel cap. Now, technically, we just did a gravel cap, so why are we going to do it again? Well, this stuff's expensive. This Eco Complete is actually pretty expensive stuff. And there is one legitimate complaint I found out about it. Planting into it. When you plant into this stuff, it's so light compared to something like a regular gravel. Let me get that cup. That what'll happen a lot of times, your plants will float up out of it. Now it's less so because it's deep and it's got dirt below it. But you just take cheap, and I mean just the cheapest aquarium gravel you can get. And I kind of follow the same pattern. Let's go around the edge. And I want to do maybe a 1/2 inch of this heavy gravel, because this, like I said, this gravel is a lot heavier than the Eco Complete. And this will take away all your problems with planting. When you take that big sword plant or whatever and go into your tank, it won't float up on you any more than it would anyway from any type of substrate. You can see I don't get real fussy about this. Since these are going to have flat bottoms basically with no real terrain, I'm not really paying attention. I'm just dumping it in there. I would spend a lot more time if I was trying to create hills or valleys or anything in a larger tank. In a 10, I just don't see it. It's really being worth doing. It seems a little low in the center. So, one more cup full of gravel. And there we go. It's ready. And we'll get it filled and aquascaped and planted. And you can see here's one down here that we've already did earlier today. You can see the black. I think the black really makes it pop well. So that's it. That's all there is to it. That's how I set up a aquarium when I want to plant and aquascaping and what have you. So anyway, when I get further along with these tanks, I'll show you. I'm only going to do so much with them today anyway because I want to get some dragonstone and I need to go to the store to do that. I'm not going anywhere else today. I'm done for the day. Anyway, we'll catch up with you on this next week.